Good morning. Happy Halloween. It is Sunday. It's Hobby Evolution time, episode 401. Today it's Sunday story time, and I'm going to share a story that's not hobby related, not baseball card hobby related, but it's a scary story for me, but not in the traditional sense of scary Halloween stories. I'm going to share my personal plane ride from hell. Now, if you're a wrestling fan, you're probably familiar with the term plane ride from hell. Dark Side of the Ring on Vice did a documentary on the Dark Side of the Ring series about the WWE's plane ride from hell. There's no alcohol. There's no sexual harassment on this plane ride from hell. It literally was a scary as hell flight. So I'm going to share that story today. Dan, what is up? Good morning to you. Actually, good evening to you. Good morning to Jenny. So it is Halloween. I like Halloween. I'm not one of those people that dresses up, puts the scary ornaments outside. I'm not into that, but I do like scary movies. I like ghost stories and stuff like that. I don't believe in ghosts. I think there's an explanation for orbs and photos. I think there's an explanation in different things. I don't believe in ghosts. But I do enjoy a good ghost movie, a scary movie, and all that stuff that goes along with Halloween. We pass out candy. Our trick-or-treating is this evening. We will be passing out candy. So do some of that stuff. My wife doesn't watch scary movies, so we won't have like Halloween on TV or anything like that. My wife has been watching Yellowstone. I just ignore it. I hate it. So hopefully she's almost finished with the series. Hobby stuff yesterday. I did a bunch of shipping. I did some sorting. I posted a picture last night of a box of those ugly red 90 Donruss cards. I hate those. So what I've been doing is it's kind of multitasking, I guess. I need some 4-row boxes for my eBay inventory. As I scale up and add more and more items to my eBay store, I need some fresh boxes. And then I also need some quarter boxes because I'm working on some 25-cent boxes, the new for November for next month's show. The Madison Card Show, which is Saturday, November 27th, to Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. So I need new boxes for that. Plus, I need to find some more 25-cent cards just so I can have some fresh inventory for November. So as I pull out some old 4-row boxes, I'm going through some of the boxes I haven't sorted in a few years. So it's kind of nice to find some treasures. I think pretty much during COVID, I went through a bulk of my boxes, but there's still some stuff that it's great 25-cent fodder. What I pulled, if I went through it last year, was stuff I could list on eBay, dollar cards and up. Whereas there's still a lot of like 25-cent stuff that I can throw into my bargain boxes. So it's kind of two birds with one stone. I can sort through these cards, and then I'm putting them in boxes. The boxes that my cases of Heritage Miners came in, perfect for rows of cards. And they fit like 4. You can double up 4 rows, so you can fit almost 4,000 cards. Because a 3,200 count box, a 4-row 3,200 count box, did not quite fill up one of those boxes. I had a couple rows left on top. So probably just about 4,000 cards in those. So that was hobby stuff. I did list all of my player lots. I think there's 188 or 189 player lots from 2021 Topps Heritage Miners. I did not do, and I think I mentioned this yesterday or earlier this week, I didn't do team sets because it's just too, doing player lots, it's easy because you're sorting them numerically. Whereas team lots, first I have to figure out which teams they are, like the Houston Astros. I don't know, the minor league names change so much, and it's like, who are the Arkansas Travelers with now? And the Quad City River Bandits, even though I follow the Midwest League, I forgot they were with the Royals. So it's just too time consuming to do team sets for a product like Heritage Miners, where I can just, I made quick work of sorting them numerically, breaking them down into player lots, boom, put them up, and super easy. So those are all listed in my eBay store. I will, if you are interested in multiple player lots, let me know. Send me an eBay message. I do all my stuff on eBay. I don't do anything off eBay. So if you message me on Twitter or wherever, I'm just going to say, sorry, I do everything through eBay. That's just for business purposes, keeps everything streamlined. So all I need to do when I report my stuff to my accountant, I just print off my reports from eBay. So it's a streamlined effort in that sense. So, but I will give discounts. Shoot me an eBay message. And if you're interested in multiple player lots, they're priced right now with shipping built in. So I can get you a deal plus take off that shipping charge that's built in. Dan says most Korean schools won't let kids dress up pre-COVID. I was able to let some classes carve pumpkins, which was fun. Did nothing this year since I couldn't do either. That stinks. We always did. Well, and you're from Chicago. Here we do, Halloween parades. Ken survived the Dallas Card Show. Well, Ken, I'm looking forward to hearing your review or thoughts on this weekend's card show. So that's what I did hobby-wise yesterday. By the way, my scanner, I should have taken video last night. So I've been scanning a lot of the singles I've been scanning into my eBay store. I've been scanning them in penny sleeves. And it's not as the pictures, well, the pictures do kind of suck because the penny sleeves, because the card shifts inside the penny sleeve. And that's why I mentioned the superior fit or the perfect fit are best to run those through the scanner. There's no jamming, but the cards sometimes will, the sleeve kind of comes in so it doesn't damage the card, but it creates a poor picture. So I've got to find a workaround on not scanning the sleeves. But I did scan the Heritage Miners player lots, and I just scanned the photo of one card. So I didn't scan all 14 cards. I just scanned one card for each player, and man, it was slick. Those cards went through the picture, the scans. Check out my eBay store and any 2021 Heritage Miner player lot. The pictures are beautiful. What's up, Zach? Happy Halloween to you. Ken says it'll be quite boring. Trust me. Well, I hope it was boring just because you were busy just finding deals and not because it was a boring card show. Zach went as Bo for Halloween, wore a sandwich board and carried cases of Bowman around. Everyone loved it. Awesome. Dan landed a Burley 2009 top sketch card, 1 of 1. Awesome. And a few others I needed. Bought 2 Burley bobbleheads today. Nice. Shopping spree. And Herman says, good morning. What's up, Herman? So I have a scary story to tell, and it's only scary for myself and the 80 people that were on this flight. But wanted to share a Sunday story time. Bo will be proud, though. Went through Uncle Rich's boxes for all but an hour. Came home with 2 monster boxes. Nice. Love it. That is awesome. So I'm wearing, in honor of my story and a big football win yesterday, Western Illinois Leathernecks. They beat Illinois State yesterday by about a touchdown. So a great win for WIU. And so I was going to wear this for my story. I traveled with the football team and the men's basketball team. I was the director. My title was director of the Leatherneck Sports Network. I ran the sports network. And the final year that I was there, 2013, the 2013 football season, one of our flights, now we only in low major Division I schools, most of them have like a kind of a flight rule where you have to bus up to 7 or 8 hours. And so I think ours was like the 8 hour mark. Anything more than 8 hours, we flew. Also, if we only had like one on the schedule or zero on the schedule that were over 8 hours, I think we were able to budget in one flight. So 2013, I think we actually had 3 flights, because we played at UNLV, so that was fun. Youngstown, Ohio, which is the flight from hell, and then we had one other flight. Might have been North Dakota State, because Fargo's a long drive. But we had 3 flights that year. One of them was Youngstown, Ohio, and so when we flew, we chartered. So we had these charter planes. Charter companies would fly, and it's basically just like if you've never flown a charter flight, it's basically, and this is a big charter flight. It's not like a small plane. This is a commercial jet, because our travel party was like 90, football team plus coaching staff plus staff, trainers and all that stuff. So it's a full flight. So and you have flight attendants and everything. So we board, and I can't remember in the description I said we took off from Peoria, Illinois. It may have been Moline, Illinois, in the Quad Cities. I can't remember. We flew out of both small airports. I think it was Moline, now that I think about it, because when we boarded the flight, when we boarded the plane, I recall sitting in my seat, like moisture, like I can't remember if there was water dripping down from like the overhead. There was some like condensation on the window, which was weird. I just had the heebie-jeebies. It's just like something doesn't feel right. One of the players was walking by, and something was broke, and he made mention like, "Oh man, this plane's going down." And I'm like, so I already, like, I'm on kind of high alert. I'm a nervous flyer anyway, and with these things going on, it's like, oh, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little on edge. So we get up in the air, and Moline, Illinois to Youngstown, Ohio, it's a pretty short flight, 2.5 hours, maybe 2 hours probably. So we get up in the air, and all of a sudden I start feeling fun. Like I'm a nervous flyer, so I notice these things. Like I just have my spidey senses are tingling, and I feel like the pressure or the altitude, like something's weird. It's not a normal flight, and I've flown enough that I can sense when there's some issues going on. I didn't think it was going to be to the extent that it ended up being, but I feel some, it's like, and it felt, and it may have been 60 seconds, 90 seconds, it might have been 5 minutes later, but it just kind of all blends together. But all of a sudden, it's like pressure, like we're feeling all of this pressure. Now we get lunch, we get box meals for some of these trips. So our box meal for this particular trip was like a sub sandwich, a bag of, like, a small bag of chips and a cookie, something like that. All of a sudden, the guy who's sitting next to me, and I think he might have been on the student staff, he had a bag of chips sitting next to him, and it exploded. There was that much pressure in the cabin. His bag of chips exploded. And I don't know if it was before or after, all of a sudden, the flight attendant, this is what made it the plane ride from hell. It wasn't really necessarily what was happening. It was how the flight attendants reacted. And the flight attendant got on the microphone, and she is in full panic mode. The flight attendant, and they're supposed to be calm. Please buckle your seatbelts. Please do not rise. We're going in through some turbulence. No, full on panic. She's like, almost to a scream, like, put on your seatbelts, da 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 da. And it's like, oh, SHIT, what in the heck is going on? So, now everybody, like people who are sleeping, they're waking up. What in the hell's going on? The guy in front of me, I think he was a trainer. His eardrums like popped or whatever happens when all the pressure builds, and he's in pain, screaming. Um, Most of the flight is pretty calm, but that's going on right in front of me. The flight attendant's in a full panic mode. So I'm like, I literally, like, I have flashes of Marshall and the Marshall football team from the 70s and the Evansville basketball team. And it's like, we're going to be another story, another flight story. This is this is it. Like, I literally thought this was it. This was going to be the end. I'm going to die in a plane crash. So the masks, and on the thumbnail, I've got the photo. The masks come down, and you have to put the mask over and breathe into the mask. And we were going to do an emergency landing. We were somewhere over Indiana. And so Youngstown is on the east edge of Ohio. So I think Youngstown kind of butts up to the Pennsylvania border. So we were going to do an emergency landing somewhere in Indiana. But the pilots were able to, I don't know, get things under I think what happened was they were able to fly low enough but not have any obstruction. Like, if there were mountains, like if we were in like the Rockies or the Appalachians, we would have definitely had to make an emergency landing, because I think we were flying lower than what cruising altitude, whatever that was, because we were up 30,000, 32,000, whatever feet in the air. So we had to like descend a lot. And so we were we were close enough that they were comfortable landing at our intended destination, Youngstown, Ohio, which is a small airport, not manned. So the masks are on, and finally, as we start to descend, I've had some rough landings. The landing was like, it wasn't over until we were full. Like, I didn't have that fear of death leave my body until that plane was at a full stop, because that landing was, I thought a wheel was going to break and we were going to crash and blow up, burst into flames. Like, it was that rough. Like, it was the plane, it was doing one of these. And I'm sure if you've ever taken, if you've ever been on a flight where you're landing and it's just kind of like one of these, and it's a bumpy landing. It was like that all the way down. And it's like the plane is just kind of doing one of these. And as we, the wheels hit, it's like boom, 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 boom. And it's like, we're going to careen out of control, and this thing's going up in flames, and we're all going to die. We didn't. We got to a full stop, fortunately. Now, our head coach at the time, his son was a pilot. And so he always tracked flights. And I actually do that. Like, it sounds nerdy, but I actually do this when my wife flies with her mom to Florida. I always track the flight, see if it's on time, everything's going well. So he was tracking this flight in like the altitude, and he like called his dad right away. He's like, hey, what in the hell happened on that flight? Because you dropped X amount of feet. Are you okay? Like, what's going on? So when I heard that, when coach told me that, I'm like, oh, wow, that's not good. So that was my plane ride from hell. And I was already a nervous flyer. I've actually calmed despite that experience. I'm actually a better flyer now. I don't know if that helped me. It's kind of one of those, like, in your head, like, if something like that hasn't happened, you expect that to happen. Like, on every flight, that's what I expected. Like, I was a terribly nervous flyer, and that's what I expected every flight to happen. Like, it was the unknown. It was the anxiety, and it was like this flight. The masks are going to come down, and we're going to barely land. But then that happened, and it's like, well, hey, the only thing that could have happened that would have been worse was, well, my eardrums could have popped or whatever, or we could have died. So it couldn't have gotten much worse than what it did. But I will say, the flight attendants made it 10 times worse. I mean, screaming, panicking, put your seatbelts on, pull down your masks, like nothing about her was. I hope she found a different career path, because anything calming, no, not your thing, not your thing. So that was, that made it 10 times worse. But one player slept through this whole thing. I can't. I think he was a. I don't want to name his name, because I'm not sure who it was, but I think it was one of our defensive starters in the secondary. Slept through the whole thing. He may have taken some Dramamine or a sleeping pill or something, because he slept through the whole thing. And then one guy's eardrums pop, bag of chips pops. So yeah, it was literally a plane ride from hell. So anytime that I hear Youngstown, Ohio, it's like, oh, plane ride from hell. To make matters worse, we had a new administration. We had a new athletic administration by this time. My first athletic administration I loved, from the football coaching staff to the athletic director who hired me. I mean, treated us like kings. And we went. My first trip was in 2011 to Youngstown, and athletic director and the president was with us. We went out to a nice steak dinner. 2013, it's like, and I think budget had a lot to do with it. If you're familiar with Illinois state college, state university funding, it's it started going down the hole in 2013. So there were no steak dinners. I think I used my per diem at the combination of the hotel bar and the snack machine. So that was my plane ride from hell. Going back to the chat, Jenny says we apparently had a show in my city yesterday, 2 miles from my house, and I didn't see anything on it until this morning. Poor advertising. Yeah, that sucks. It really sucks when there's no word getting around. At the very least, a show promoter needs to put it on the Beckett calendar. Like, that's the bare minimum. Like, it's free and it takes 2 minutes. Beckett calendar. And then Facebook. I mean, you can throw a Facebook ad together. Yes, it costs some money, but hey, you've got to spend money to make money, right? Zach says, can't wait for the OC show with Bo next Saturday, Oak Creek, Wisconsin. I rationed part of my October budget for November, hoping someone has the bargain boxes we hear so much about. Yes, sir. And Zach, I'll probably have my bargain boxes in the back of my SUV. I wish I lived closer to you guys. Good morning, Jeremy. What's up? Dan says Youngstown State. Yes, it was Youngstown State. It was after Jim, who was the Ohio State coach. He won like 4 national championships with Youngstown State. So it was after him, but it was before Bo Pelini. I can't even remember who the coach was in 2013. And we lost. We lost the game. So we flew in like on a Jim Tressel. Yes, thank you. Sweater vest Tressel. So more on, so I'll add to the story. I recall, so we land in Youngstown at the Youngstown airport. It's like one of those unmanned small airports. So they like bring in people, staff to unload the planes and do all the airplane stuff. So I remember them like literally throwing the luggage from like the cargo hold down onto the runway. And it's like, oh, and yeah, so we got in there and we actually, our flight back was delayed because guess what? We couldn't fly that plane back. It was deemed unsafe to fly. So we had to wait. So So yeah, it was a terrible weekend all around. We flew in on that Friday morning. Um, we eventually landed somewhat safely in Youngstown, Ohio. Unloaded the plane. We bus to our hotel. We do a walkthrough at the stadium, the Penguins, which is a great name, and they have an amazing stadium. For an FCS school, it's one of the best stadiums out there in college football FCS division, and a great spread in the hospitality suite. So we did the walkthrough on Friday evening, and then we do our get our Yingling at the hotel bar, and probably had a burger at the hotel bar. I don't think I went to the snack machine for my dinner, but a burger at the hotel bar. Saturday it was probably an 11 a.m. kickoff. We lost the game, so we had a near-death experience midair on our flight. Banged up our luggage upon landing. No steak dinner. Loss, the most important thing, the game. Well, I guess our lives were the most important part. We won that battle. Lost the battle on the football field. And then we get back to the airport for our flight. Your plane's been deemed unsafe to fly. We're waiting on a replacement plane. It's flying in from Florida or wherever this charter company was based out of. So I think we were delayed at the Youngstown airport, and and this is not like getting laid over at Hartsfield in Atlanta or O'Hare in Chicago or DFW. This is the Youngstown airport where there's some vending machines and that's it. There's no there's one terminal. There's no restaurant, no bar. Well, we couldn't go to the bar. Well, we could have, but it wouldn't have been very professional for the adults to do that. There's nothing like that. There's no magazine stand. There might be a vending machine with the local newspaper, but it was chairs in the terminal and that's it, and maybe a vending machine with pop and candy. So I think we were laid over there in Youngstown waiting for our replacement plane for maybe 3 hours. It seemed a lot longer, but and there were some more nervous fly. There were some guys on our staff that they're like, we want to rent a van. Some equipment guys were scared to get back on a plane. They're like, we'll rent a van and drive back, probably to Macomb, 10 hours maybe, Youngstown to Macomb, Illinois. So it wouldn't have been that bad of a drive. I probably would have hopped in with them. I didn't want to fly either. But our replacement plane came, and it was a safe. It finally got there. It was we didn't have to. We didn't have any issues mid-flight. We landed okay, and we got back and had a story to tell. So yeah, plane ride from hell. October, I think it was the 29th. It came up in my like Facebook memories. October 29th, 2013. So that's my Halloween scary story. Only scary for me and the 80 other people on the flight, except for the guy that was sleeping through the whole thing. So that's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. Have a safe and happy Halloween. Go Bears. Who are they playing today, by the way? Is it the 49ers? I don't even know. But I'll be watching some football, be shipping out some cards, sorting some cards. The fun never ends. So have a great Sunday, and we'll chat tomorrow. By the way, Monday through Friday, I'm on 7 a.m. Central, Monday through Friday. So back at it tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.